Oh, welcome to AmityCast. My name is the intro guy, and that's the other one.
Yep.
All right. So, what are we talking about today?
Venom 2.
It's actually Venom. Let There Be Carnage. That's a mistake I've been seeing a lot of people make recently. No, but
Yes.
today we're talking about the sequel to the critically acclaimed Venom.
Venom 2 sucked.
So, let me go back for a second. Venom was not critically acclaimed, critically panned because um, I believe it to be a rather bad film. We talked about it last week. I don't like Venom at all. It's a very bad movie, in my opinion. And today we're talking about the sequel, Let There Be Carnage. So, do you think that this Woody Harrelson edition, overall story expansion, do you think that this sequel is better or worse than its predecessor?
This movie's very odd because, like, the more I think about it, the more I dislike it, and the more praise I see for it, the more I even more dislike it. Because all the praise is just it is what it like was set out to be, and it's like it's funny to watch, and I don't know if I would say. I mean, it's I'd probably watch this over the first one just because it isn't half the movie just talking about what Venom's gonna be, and then Venom shows up in the last half hour. And Carnage was at least entertaining to watch, unlike the last villain. But this movie almost has a worse script and like a worse story because it's somehow extremely it moves extremely fast, but it also just feels so fucking slow, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing I've experienced in a while. I've seen movies like this, but it's one of those films that's it's so pandering that it drags on for so long. Like it's just I can't believe I'm sitting through it. But at the same time, it feels way too rushed and everything's going by too quickly to establish anything. And it's like one of the worst things that you could see from a film, like somehow managing both of those negative extremes.
Yeah, for sure. And it was so bad. The script sucked. I could barely understand what Venom was saying the whole movie, and they kept giving him lines, and it was terrible. Carnage's voice was disappointing. Carnage itself was extremely disappointing. I didn't mention this to you, but in the theater, like when Carnage first broke out, for like 10 seconds the projector just broke, and it was just you couldn't see what was going on, and it was like the best sequence of the film. So I missed like the first like 20 seconds of it.
Awesome. That's just great. That like really the best part because that scene was at least somewhat engaging.
But it wasn't rated
I
R, so it was just constantly just
it's
bland.
clear with characters that need to be in an R-rated setting just so they can flow properly because it just doesn't work. We talked about that a lot last week with the first film, but it's just
This movie could
um,
have. This movie really like had more of a chance to be good compared to the first one, and it sucks that Spider Man wasn't in it. But you can do a Venom Carnage movie about Spider Man. I mean, they have before, and
yeah, that's true. I guess we should say like spoilers for what we're gonna talk about, but yeah.
yeah, and the post credit scene was. I mean, I guess it was the best part of the movie, but I'm not. I'm not really excited for what it's bringing at all.
No, I wouldn't be excited for again spoilers just in case. But I wouldn't be. I'm not excited about merging with like the Tom Holland Spider-Man storyline and potentially being a part of the MCU. Like I don't want that because it's already failed twice in my mind with the two movies that we've seen and with this character. It's already been very bad twice. And I gotta say, you talked about Venom getting a lot of lines in this movie. It's like I think a lot of the humor is it's supposed to be trying to gain a lot of campy humor based on the banter between Eddie Brock and Venom and like that dialogue. But the dialogue is not well written, and it's not humorous at all, and it's not engaging. It's not
It's
fun.
just
It's just annoying and it's stupid.
it's not good. I believe Tom Hardy like co-wrote this movie, and it's just like I can definitely tell that he is just not a good writer enough yet. And then Andy Serkis directed, and I guess the directing was better, but he didn't give a good story, and it was dumb. The dumb rave scene. I mean, it was I guess it was a funny image to see Venom in a rave, but it wasn't entertaining. It wasn't funny. The whole little speech Venom gave, where he was like weird, like homo, like sexual undertones, where he's like, "I'm coming out of the Eddie closet." It doesn't make sense, and it's stupid.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all. Like, I don't know why they're trying to establish anything like that, or if they were or not, but why they would with a symbiote that's meant to be asexual, which is supposed to be the whole point of Carnage anyway, because Venom asexually reproduces another symbiote that is supposed to be Carnage. I don't the wait, that's really weird. We can get into that later, but like, I get Circus's direction wasn't like the worst I've seen, but it definitely wasn't good, like by any means. And yeah, Tom Hardy has a story credit, so I don't know like why, because there was not an enthralling story in any way. The entire script was awful, and I guess I don't know. I think the script was worse than the first one. In some ways, I do enjoy this one more because like I guess like Carnage's design isn't bad as long as you can like deal with CGI, and it like
Yeah, this Carnage design
overall,
was weird because like in some shots it looked actually pretty good, in some shots it looked pretty bad, and it just can never decide. Also, that scene where like Carnage like hacked a computer, I was like, this is so fucking early 2000s. This is so dumb. I hate it. And what the fuck was up with Venom being this big R-rated comic book character? And he's like, nah, I don't want to eat chickens. That's mean. I'd rather like kill just a human. Like what's the correlation?
yeah, nothing like makes sense about like the first like half of it is so stupid because all of it felt completely pointless and like it was so boring and it was so dumb. There wasn't a single laugh out of it up until I didn't enjoy anything at all up until the Carnage escape scene. Like everything before that, I thought was absolutely awful. Like it was like aggravatingly bad, and oh my god, I just didn't want to be there anymore. I was like, I wanted to like leave the theater, but I was like, all right, fine, I gotta finish watching this. And once Carnage comes into play, it does get a little bit better because it looks like they're fully committing to just like being ridiculous, at least for the most part in this movie. But they were still trying to go for like some like emotional stuff with between like Cletus Cassidy and like his like weird girlfriend subplot, which was terrible, and like Eddie Brock and like his ex and like that subplot, which was also terrible and like didn't lead to anything and was stupid.
Yeah, and they also had another weird, like, they had like two weird sexual scenes again in this movie where it was like the fucking Carnage was like wrapping the tentacles around the girlfriend's like cell, and it was just like this really weird scene, and it was scored weird, and then like they were just like making out, and Carnage was just kind of there, and then they brought back She-Venom for like 1 minute, and then they had another weird scene with She-Venom, and I was like, I don't know what these weird over sexual like undertones are with the symbiotes, but it's very unneeded.
It's incredibly unnecessary. If anything, it just drags the film down even more.
Like I don't know why I just think a bunch of people like tentacle and like alien shit in their movies. Like I do, but like I don't need it that much.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the enjoyment of this movie really hinges on how you can deal with Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson's performances because like
They're both entertaining.
I mean,
I would say Woody Harrelson's definitely more entertaining in this movie because he really kind of goes for it, but like not in a way where it's like I'm impressed. Like he's trying to be like Heath Ledger Joker, like this like big villain, and like the Carnage is like a really good villain, but not in this movie. It's an hour and a half. You get very little backstory, and you don't really care. And he's just kind of crazy, balls to the wall, doesn't make sense, and it's entertaining, but it's not good at all.
yeah, I mean, it is somewhat entertaining for that reason because it's just kind of commitment to craziness, but it's not, like you said, not impressive, and I don't want to watch it again because of it. Like, it's not that type of entertaining. It's just like, okay,
he didn't have
well,
he didn't have any good motivation until like the very end when he actually had one good line where it was like he was saying like, oh, you didn't write about my past or my backstory, you just talked about how I murdered people, and it's like, okay, that could have been a good motivation throughout the movie if it was like better developed outside of like one line, and it's like at the end of the climax, and it's just like, why would you wait until now to say that? It's so dumb.
yeah, that's the problem with a lot of like modern, like really popular movies is because it's just like There's like
I
a
can I
weird
can
like thing.
see I can see where this movie could have been like amazing. The Venom Carnage fight wasn't even that good. People praise it, and it's like I guess it's entertaining, but it's like it's just the first movie's fight again, and it's just it's a red one now. That's it. It's really that's all.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, they did some like creative things with the Carnage character, like that they could do with like a lot of like the weird like tentacle type like things that come off of it and moving all the way around, and like yeah, that was like pretty cool, I guess. But they really didn't use it to its full potential, and like overall, it just felt like well, there's no reason for this to be Carnage and to use this character. It could have been any of the other like Marvel symbiotes that there are. Like I don't really see like the point really.
Because money. Also,
Well, yeah.
I believe I don't know for sure, but I know this in the comics. I think Carnage and like Cletus were like such like a big thing because they like were like perfect like symbiosis, but in this movie they just weren't. I believe. Which
Yeah, I mean, I know in some of the stories I've read, like a big point is that like because the whole thing with Carnage is that he's connected to Cletus through his blood, and like they are pretty much they're like they're very symbiotic, and like it works really well. And this movie is just like no, they're not actually working that well, even though they are working well the entire time, and they're able to do a lot of things successfully together. Then at the end, it's just like look, they're not symbiotic because they're arguing right now.
yeah, and also the girlfriend, which was Shriek, which is like another. I think that's another symbiote, but she doesn't have a symbiote in this movie, which was weird. I don't know if Shriek and
Yeah,
Carnage
it is
are dating in the
because
comics.
Shriek. I don't know about that. I don't remember ever seeing that, but it could have been true. I'm not gonna say if it was or wasn't because I don't know. But Shriek was a symbiote. It was like a yellow one, I think, or maybe that was a different one. I don't know. There's 5 other ones besides Venom and Carnage that I can remember, and Shriek is one of them.
And Riot was another one,
Like
I believe.
it's just a chick.
Yeah, we could have got Venom with like boobs the whole movie, but it's just this black girl that screams and is annoying, and Carnage just hates her because she screams, and it's like there's no character reason. It's just she annoys me, and it's just kind of like this doesn't work for a plot that's only 90 minutes, and I don't feel anything by the third act because it's just kind of we're just here now.
Yeah, there was no time to like establish any good backstory, any good story development, anything to like actually set up any payoffs that they tried to have at the end. Like none of that worked at all because they didn't actually set anything up, and the entire film is just Eddie and Venom bantering, and then like talking to Cletus Cassidy until he becomes Carnage, and then like they fight, and that's it. Like that's literally the entire movie. And
Also, they kill Carnage.
It feels like a huge waste of time.
They kill Carnage for no reason. Why would you kill Venom's only good villain? Why would you do that? Especially when you have Woody Harrelson playing over them, which isn't like an A actor, but like he's a very well known and like popular actor. So why would you? What's the point in bringing him in if you're gonna kill him in 90 minutes? And they don't. They also the ending doesn't make sense because like all of a sudden the girlfriend character Shriek, who's like also a murderer and also a terrible person, is just like, hey, you can't be murdering his girl. You can't be murdering Eddie's girlfriend. That's way too far, man. And it's like, what? You've been like murdering like police officers and like random people this whole movie. So stupid.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. None of the like character actions really made a lot of sense to me. Like really
Also, they brought
at
in.
all.
They're hinting at Toxin for the next movie, and like the actor that's playing him, I don't remember Toxin being played by like a 40-year-old cop. I thought he was much younger in the comics, but I don't know. And I'm not excited for that at all. I don't even know how he got the symbiote. How do you get a symbiote? Like what?
It doesn't make any sense. They also don't like fully explain. Like, I guess okay, so Cletus bites Eddie, so then he gets some of his blood, but like that doesn't. But like, at no point did it like insinuate that Venom had another symbiote that it was like ready to produce, because like a whole like point in the comics is that Venom was like asexually reproduces, so there is like some type of pregnancy where the symbiote gets produced and then it attaches to Cletus Cassidy. But like in this movie, he just bites him and then he has it and then he escapes.
Yeah, it was very dumb.
And that line delivery when he was like, "I've tasted blood before, Eddie, and that ain't it. Eddie Brock's got a secret." Like, dude, okay, like that's like it was a good example of how over the top it was, but like in a bad way because that made me cringe so hard.
It's so dumb. He was definitely fun to watch, Carnage, but I don't. It's dumb because like the MCU is just gonna introduce their own like variant of Carnage, or they're just gonna reintroduce Carnage, and it's just gonna be better at some point, and just be like, why did we need this version of the character when it could just give it to Marvel and you'll make money off of it because it'll be better and it'll be over multiple movies and not killed in a 90-minute movie that looked like it was made in like 2005. Like I don't get the reasoning for why Sony thinks this is going to be a profit in the long run at all. I don't get it.
Yeah, honestly, overall, just watching Venom Let There Be Carnage. I mean, I've seen a lot of people be really into it, and they've been like praising it for some reason. And it seems to be the same people that were super hyped for it, which I never understood the hype for it in the first place because the first Venom was so bad. And it's just been like the visuals aren't impressive, the story is terrible, the script is very bad, none of the acting is good. Some of it might be entertaining, maybe. It's not funny, it's not engaging. Overall, I didn't find any of it to be impressive. I found most of it to be a complete waste of time, and it's just so pandering. Somehow drags while also feeling rushed. It's a very bad movie. Like, it's just so bad. I think it's terrible.
And like it's not like we're just being like overly like pretentious and like critical. It's just like even as like an entertaining bad movie, it doesn't really work. I just kind of hate myself while watching it because it's so unbelievably boring.
I was viscerally upset watching it. Like, it's one of those bad kind of movies.
And it's not even rated R, so there's like no fun kills or like fight scenes or like there's nothing like that makes it special. It's just a PG-13 movie, and it's not like there's nothing interesting about it, and it should be because it's Venom and Carnage in a movie fighting each other for like a whole movie, and it's just so bland and PG-13ish the whole time.
Yeah, and they had that one F-bomb at the end, and it was just like, okay, cool. It would have made a lot more sense if dialogue like that and action that was much more extreme would have been applied throughout the entire film. Which, I mean, I guess it could work under a PG-13 circumstance, but then it would have to be much, better written in like every capacity. It would have to be probably directed better, and it would have to be a lot more interesting just with everything, with the characters, with the symbiotes, just like with what they're trying to do. Everything that's been established it's just kind of embarrassing. From the first film to this one, they're both complete failures in my opinion, just utterly abysmal.
Yeah, and I keep seeing reviews about how it's like everybody that reviews it just seems to know that it's bad, but they're just like, yeah, I enjoy it, and it's like this isn't good to just be praising these absolute dog shit movies. And it's just like we're gonna get Venom 3 now for sure, and we're gonna get Venom in the MCU for like a few movies, and it's just like I don't want that, and I don't want Venom 3 to just be about Toxin, because Toxin's not even like a villain from what I remember.
Really, no, not like entirely. So
how would you even make a movie about that? Because you killed Carnage, you could have had a movie about Carnage and Toxin and Venom, but now you can't. So it's like I don't know what your story's gonna be, because I guess Andy Serkis is talking about how he has a lot more cool stories to tell in the like Venom universe before he goes over and fights Spider-Man, and it's like, but like what? You didn't have a story for this one. What's your story?
Yeah. IGN gave this movie a 7.
Yeah, and I think they gave Halloween Kills like a 7.
I mean, I was looking at I was looking at the Metascore on Metacritic, and it's a 47, which is way higher than I expected. The first film had a 35, which is really bad. This one's got a 47, and just looking at the different reviews for it, like the highest ones are saying that it's a bold and brisk superhero story, unlike any other mainstream Hollywood film in the genre. It crams a heck of a lot of a movie into an hour and a half, but it doesn't feel like it needed to be longer. It just feels like we need more movies like it. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that entire review.
Yeah, that's so dumb. That makes no sense. It's not unique. It's It's
No,
like,
it's not. It's not original. It doesn't cram a lot into of a movie into an hour and a half because it feels like nothing happened. It feels like a complete waste of time. And no, I don't feel like we need more movies like it at all. That no, and it did need to be longer because there needed to be like some sort of substance of some like of any kind.
well, yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's not a good movie.
And people are trying to say that it's good because of the campy humor, the interesting action, and they're trying to say that it says a lot about relationships evolving and learning to grow and trust like each other within a relationship. And like, no, that doesn't come through at all in this movie. Not in my opinion. Not the movie I watched.
Well, yeah, it doesn't work, and like I guess the one thing that was interesting when they like announced this movie and like the first details were about how like Venom and Eddie were like having like basically relationship conflicts. I was like, okay, that could be interesting and like humorous if like written well and like actually like explored well. And this one it was just like a dumb rom com for a little bit, and then Venom leaves and basically kills like several people just partying, and like they never addressed that Venom was just kind of killing people, and he's still a hero because I'm pretty sure he killed like 4 or 5 people just going around. It's just never. It's dumb. It's very bad. Every single Carnage scene is laughably bad. And if Woody Harrelson wasn't playing Carnage, it would just be absolute shit. And it's just the action's bland.
The reason he makes it better is because he brings it up from being absolutely dreadful to I guess mildly entertaining in the worst possible way.
Yeah, it's entertaining, but it's like on the same levels as like how Ryan Reynolds was entertaining as like fucking Green Lantern, and it's like 'cause it's so bad that you can't really take your eyes off it. And it's like, what are you gonna? How's Venom gonna fight Spider-Man realistically in a movie? And it's gonna make any sense? This like 30-year-old dude's just like, yeah, fuck this kid. I'm just gonna like murder him, and it's like, why? What's the point? What's this? Why is this a thing? I don't get it. It angers me to like think about it too much because it's just like there's so many movies that could be being made with these characters. There's so many just good movies in general that are getting made, and these are the ones keep getting greenlit and keep getting top box office and keep getting fucking praise from random people I know. And it's like, how about you like actually watching good movie?
Yeah, it's really upsetting. One thing that I always like to say is that it's really hard to love a movie with a script that feels like it has nothing to say. And this movie definitely doesn't have anything to say based on what I see and what I've viewed. And it does not make up for it with any of the substance around it, like at all.
It's bad. It's not good at all. And I mean, I guess a lot of the camera work was better, I guess, and I guess it overall was filmed better. It's like I guess the effects were better, and I guess it like improved in some aspects to the first movie, but the first movie just set such a low bar that this movie's basically around the same. It's really it doesn't feel different. Even the posters are the same, and the villain's basically the same thing, just a symbiote that wants to kill people and take over the planet. But Carnage wants to get married, I guess, and it's like this whole wedding subplot just keeps getting brought up, and it's like, can Carnage just be like a maniac murderer and that's it? Why does he have to have a marriage? This just feels really weird and against his character. I don't get it.
Yeah, the most upsetting thing about that is that it just seems like they just took the Carnage character and it was just like another fill-in symbiote. They really did not take it anywhere, and it's annoying because like the Cletus Cassidy character and the Carnage symbiote, there's a lot more depth to it that there could have been explored upon, and they could have at least taken it a little more to its full potential, and either had more fun with it or gone more in depth, like I'm trying to say here. Like, it would have been so much more interesting, or at least so much more compelling.
I wasn't even excited for this movie, but when I heard it was an hour and a half, I was immediately like, well, this is not good. The story should be longer than an hour and a half. The first Venom was almost 2 hours. That movie should have been an hour and a half, if anything. I don't know why this one is the one that gets an hour and a half. It's dumb. It's like when fucking Justice League was like announced to be 2 hours, and it's just like there's no way you're gonna make a good story in that time. And this movie completely showed that it was everything I thought it was gonna be. I guess it was a little bit more entertaining than I thought it would be. But I'm never going to like go out and buy this like willingly. I'm never going to turn it on TV to like actively enjoy it. I'm never going to like think about this movie in a positive light. And I hate that it has like an 80% score of like audiences. Like I don't get what people are seeing in this movie. Like I don't think it's just like me. I think it's just generally like I don't want to call like audiences dumb, but it's just like they're obviously not. There's an obvious they don't like actually want substance, because there is no substance in this movie. There isn't, like, objectively.
Yeah, I really don't understand the love for it, especially the first film and this one. Like, I have no idea what people see in it, like, because there's really nothing to them. They're wastes of time. Pretty much everything about them is, like, almost embarrassingly bad. Like, I seriously can't fathom it. Like, it is the most shocking thing to me that a large number of people seem to genuinely enjoy the first film, were genuinely very hyped for this second film, and seem to have enjoyed it now that it's been released. It baffles me beyond what I can even put into words. Like, I do not understand.
Also,
and I'm not trying to judge people that like the movie, because you can like whatever you want to like. You know, cinema is subjective. Like, in the end, it is. But I just don't get like the seemingly overwhelming like love for these two films that are just in my opinion, some of the worst stuff that I've seen in modern cinema.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think we can both admit we like bad movies. Everybody likes bad movies. But I can admit when a movie's, like, objectively bad, or at least not well liked. And it just seems like the fans of this movie don't, like, want to listen to what critics have to say about it. They don't want to listen to any criticism. They don't understand why people don't like it. And it's like, if you, like, look at these movies for, like, longer than, like, 10 seconds, I feel like you can definitely see that. Especially if you know anything about the comics, like absolutely anything. This is a complete waste of not only Venom and Carnage, but just the symbiotes in general and the storylines they could be having if they were an actual good universe that actually like would establish stuff and have stakes. And it's not. This isn't it. This will never be it. I don't want to see. I guess I'm very vaguely interested in however the MCU directors are going to incorporate this version of the character in the MCU, and if it's somehow going to be better. But it's going to be tied to these two movies, and it's not going to be entertaining or good in the slightest. And then now they're going to have to explain in whatever Spider-Man movie shows up in, why does he look like Spider-Man, like design-wise, like why? And there's no good explanation besides, well, we just didn't have Spider-Man be part of this backstory because I don't know. It's stupid. It's like having the Joker from the Joker standalone movie be in the new Batman movie. It's like it wouldn't make sense. You need a different version of that character, and if you want it to be actually part of the Batman storyline. And it's just I don't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't work when they try to establish characters that already have established lore and history within other mediums, to just bring them into film and to just kind of do whatever they want with it. It like can succeed, but then you can't just try to integrate that into what it would normally already have been, because that just doesn't work. I think a big issue with like modern review like websites and criticisms for films like Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, all those, is that people like criticize them. They're like, oh, they don't get it. I'm just gonna check out the audience score. That's the one that really matters. And it's like, yeah, if you are only into a movie looking for some one-off entertainment, then yeah, the audience score makes more sense, because that's probably people who are just trying to be entertained. But a critic is going to watch a movie and they're going to critique first and then try to be entertained second. Their goal is to try to break it down and to actually analyze it and how it like fits as a piece of cinema. It's not like if it just has a couple good action sequences and some good jokes, that wouldn't make up for it if it's poorly written, has bad visual direction, and has like terrible characters and no development, no substance, and terrible plot structure. There's a lot that goes into films that's not just mild entertainment value. Like, a critic is going to critique. That's just how it is.
Yeah, and like I get it. Like especially with Halloween Kills coming out, a lot of people aren't listening to the critics, just because like sometimes it's understandable to not like listen to the critics' side, because sometimes critics are wrong about a movie, and especially of like horror movies and stuff. It's much more, if you're a horror fan, listen to what horror fans have to say about, a new horror movie coming out over what a critic who doesn't really like slash movies, because sometimes even critics are just biased and it's annoying. But I feel like honestly with these two movies, the critics have been more than fair and honestly pretty nice to these two movies, and
Like that.
I don't know why they have, because I think the second one has like almost like a 50% or something, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. And like obviously, like you, if you want to find out what critics have to say, then look into it. If you don't, then don't. If you just want to watch a movie just to enjoy it and you form your own opinion, okay, that's good. You can check out other opinions if you want, but what it comes down to is just like critics are gonna critique, and like it obviously biases do affect it sometimes, and in the end always watch a movie to like actually judge it yourself. I am a firm believer in that. But it's just like it's how the world of film goes, and it's how it's always gone. So I mean, I don't know what else to really say about that.
Yeah, and when it comes to new releases, I'll look into what critics say just because I'm interested, but in the end, how I view the movie is how I view the movie. And however the critics view it, that's just how the critics view it. Um, it's just a common thing that's going to happen with every release, and it's very clear in today's society, at least when it comes to film, that people sit and make fun of these review sites if like a movie they like gets a bad score, but when a movie they like gets a good score, then they praise the website, and it's very weird. It's very not fair. Um, it's very dumb because they'll just only praise it when it works for their narrative of what they think about the movie. Like if this movie got like a perfect score, people would be praising the site. But since it's not, now it's not a good site and you shouldn't listen to it. And that's just a common thing in the world a lot more lately that I've noticed. And it doesn't stop at film. It goes into a lot of other things. But yeah, this movie definitely has way higher score than it needs to.
I
I don't get it.
I think that's ridiculous, and that actually reminded me of another point I wanted to bring up, because the music and sound design was also not very good in this movie.
The Eminem song, which I don't think it was like a bad song, but it's not even an Eminem song. It's like the last verse, and it's not called Carnage, and like it's not even related to the movie. It's like what? And then the regular music wasn't good. It was very bland. It felt like stock music, and the sound design. We've already discussed. I couldn't understand what Venom was saying half the time. I couldn't understand what Carnage was saying half the time. Any character that was talking in a fight scene, I couldn't understand what they were saying. It was just so fucking bad.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't think the dialogue was very good anyway. So
It literally
when it's
fucking
annoying,
Carnage just says randomly for some reason, "Let there be carnage." Like who says that in any conversation?
yeah, it didn't make any sense. Like, just let there be carnage. Like, no, no. Why is the Carnage character like just? It doesn't make sense to be established. And
Yeah, and also um, was there no cameras at the prison? Because the police officer kept saying that people are saying there was like a monster, but it's a big fucking prison. Would you have like footage of this? What?
yeah,
This
since
is
people
like,
are talking about monsters, why don't you actually look into what actually happened? Because
and why are you
there's
not
got
why are you not believing people when like every single time something happens they say they see a monster? Like maybe it's because there is, and like is there no footage of Venom from the last movie when like he was like invading like a fucking NASA site? Like what? Also, why I don't get why Eddie Brock was so against in the beginning of like letting Venom fight bad guys. Like, wasn't that like established at the end of the first movie that was gonna happen? Because if anything was like decent about the movie, at least it ended with like the two on good terms, and it was like, okay, you can't eat people, but we can like have like a like a deal of sorts and like work together. And then in this movie, they're just arguing all the time, and like I get that's like the point is like, yeah, they have a relationship, but like it's on the rocks. But it's like, why would you end the movie with like Venom eating people's heads off and like saying that he's gonna like help protect the city, but in the next movie it's like he doesn't want him to protect the city and he's basically starving Venom, and it's like, bro, you have a fucking symbiote. If I had that, I'd be fucking running around the whole goddamn world doing shit. I'd be a dumb fucking reporter. What?
Yeah, like it. I don't know. It just seems to be like a lot of bailouts, just like to kind of establish like the movie that it is. But it is a sequel that has to be like faithful, no matter how bad the first film was. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really can't think of a single way to call this film not a failure. I was debating giving it a 1 out of 10 between being a 1 out of 10 and a 2 out of 10. I guess, like, positives, the design of Carnage, I mean, it really isn't, like, that bad if you can get over the CGI. Like, it is kind of cool. And, like, it does have a couple good sequences. I mean, the set pieces aren't, like, awful. I mean, I guess they're fine. And I think the direction is an improvement, even though it's still not good. Um, I can't decide if I think it's better or worse than the first movie, because the first one was laughable. Like, it was really bad.
Like
When it comes down to it,
I can only watch his movies like if I was either forced to, or extremely under the influence for some reason, and consciously decide to watch these. Like I can't watch these like by myself or with people and just sit there and be like, this is quality entertainment. I'd rather watch the Amazing Spider-Man movies than watch both these movies. Like I don't. At least those have like actual, as an actual storyline. This is just bullshit. There's random bullshit. That's all it is for two movies.
yeah, I definitely agree. They're both gonna be sitting at a 2 out of 10 for me because I think they're actually like very close in quality. Like, you asked me a question the other day, like on a scale of like Venom to Venom Let There Be Carnage, and I was like, honestly, I can't think of a single film in between them because they're that close together, and that's
Morbius,
not a
bro.
good. It's not a good thing. They're both very.
You have to watch Morbius in a few months.
Which I do not want to see at all.
It's not a character that. Small rant about that movie. Why out of all the Spider-Man villains, a Morbius movie is greenlit? They're also greenlit a Kraven the Hunter movie without Spider-Man, which is literally the dumbest thing I've heard in like a while. Because not only is Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Kraven the Hunter, which makes no sense. It's gonna be like about Kraven the Hunter, but without Spider-Man. So what is it? What is he hunting then? Just fucking random people? What's the whole point of that character? That he's hunting Spider-Man. Like, how are you gonna make a movie without Spider-Man about Kraven the Hunter? Like, what?
It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like how they would try to make like a Venom movie, like without Spider-Man, and like completely establish the character in like a new way. Like, there's no way that would ever work, and it would never like take off and be like a success and have a sequel.
And then fucking Morbius, it's like, okay, this is like a fucking D-list villain that like I guess is like probably kind of cool in the comics. I don't know, but like wouldn't this be much cooler in like a Blade movie? Like why is this? Why does this have Jared Leto and Tyrese in a Sony produced film? And why has it got delayed 7 times? Like this movie's gonna make money anyway.
Yeah, that's what seems really stupid to me because like I don't. It's a character that most people probably haven't even heard of, and it's never even been that good of one. At least not in my opinion. I mean, maybe some people like connect with it in like a cult way. I don't know, but I've never heard any praise for the character, and I've never heard any reason, like good reason, for there to be a movie. But it's happening, I guess. So we can look forward to that. Yet,
I mean, it's not like a movie couldn't work. I mean, like, no way I was excited for, like, Shang-Chi that much. But, like, that worked because it actually tried. And that movie's, like, leaps and bounds better than this movie, like, by far. And some people are calling this, like, the best comic book movie of the year. And it's like, no.
yeah, I mean, out of the comic book movies I've seen this year, I mean, I'd say the good ones. I'd say the best one is probably Shang-Chi, and then probably Zack Snyder's Justice League, I guess.
Well, the Suicide Squad was solid, I thought.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad's probably the best one, actually. I keep forgetting about that one. But the
Because
Suicide Squad
And I saw
and, like,
Black
Shang-Chi.
Widow, and Black Widow is extremely mediocre, and I'd rather watch Black Widow. Actually, on pure entertainment value, maybe I'd rather watch Venom 2, because it's shorter and it's more stupid. But Black Widow's, like, objectively better than this, and Black Widow was pretty bad. But yeah.
I still haven't seen Black Widow, but I assume it's, like, not... Yeah, it's not that good. Honestly, yeah. When it comes to stuff, like, in the same year as, like, the Suicide Squad and Shang-Chi, yeah, it's not, like, the most impressive comic book lineup that we've gotten in recent years, even, but, like, those two movies are, like,
And we still got
way far anything that Venom Let There Be Carnage could have ever been.
and we still got Spider-Man No Way Home, which it was cool to see the trailer. I haven't seen the trailer in theaters yet. I did see the fucking Jackass 4 trailer again, which I want to kill myself. But the Halloween Kills trailer was good too. But I'm so happy I don't have to watch Venom 2 trailer again because it's like been playing in theaters for like over a year now, and I was so fucking tired of like hearing it. And it's like, Eddie, we should be fighting bad guys. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm really happy that that's gone. The No Way Home trailer is great. The Halloween Kills trailer is hype every time. I'm so excited for that. I cannot wait for that at all. I'm so excited. But I gotta say, like, just on a bit of a tangent, the Jackass 4 trailer, I can't take it anymore. Like, I literally can't.
I hope you know
like,
it's gonna be in the H Kills when we
time,
see it next week.
I'm gonna have a breakdown.
I'm gonna start reciting it because I can't. That's all I can do now. I know every line.
Oh my goodness.
I can like. I think I've seen it in my nightmares. I'm gonna be honest. It's so bad. It's not even a good trailer anyway, and the movie looks terrible. All the Jackass movies are terrible.
Knoxville's 49, so we're good.
I remember when Allie saw that, she was like, "That is the dumbest line because it's so inaccurate." And it's like, it's not even funny. It's just inaccurate.
It's just a waste of time. Like, the Jackass as a concept should never work as a movie.
It's a fucking web series, if anything. That's all it should be. And there should be 4 movies that have been like all released theatrically, and like help like give these people careers. And it's like they're literally just being retarded. But yeah.
Oh man.
And then
this is the.
I don't know why Tom Hardy back to Venom. I don't know why Tom Hardy's so into this universe now, because I remember the first Venom, he seemed like he didn't enjoy his experience. And like he was upset it wasn't rated R and that it was like cut down a lot, because apparently the first Venom had like 40 minutes of footage cut out and like all of it was like rated R material. And it's like, I want to see that movie just purely just to see what were they like intending before the studio got involved. Like, no matter what, this movie wouldn't have worked, but like I want to like see what they like actually made. But no, we get Venom 2.
Yeah, we just get Venom, Let There Be Carnage, 2 immaculate films, if immaculate meant terrible. And who knows if they're, like, I mean, trying to set up like a third one with Toxin and trying to integrate Venom into the MCU, or at least the Tom Holland Spider-Man storyline. So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and what was I thinking? I was going to say something. Also, what was it at the beginning? They had like a younger actor play Woody Harrelson, but they had like Woody Harrelson dub his lines, and it was like the dumbest thing I've seen in like 10 years. It was the dumbest thing since like fucking Henry Cavill's mustache and fucking Justice League. Like, it was so like weird. Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, that was actually so stupid. I remember I was watching that and I was like, wait, what am I watching? And like with those like 2 like younger version of characters we were gonna get later, I was like, why? This serves no purpose. This is so stupid. What is the? Why would you have someone who I guess kind of looks like a young Woody Harrelson, kind of, and just use like Woody Harrelson voice just to establish a Cletus Cassidy? Like, what?
You already established him at the end of the first movie.
Yeah.
And also, just like his hair was changed, and it's like, well, why would you think the curly fucking hair was good in the first place? You fucking idiots. His hair's still dumb in this one. I don't know how it's so hard to just give him the fucking regular hairstyle. Like,
you know, there might have been. I was just thinking about how there might have been one moment that got a chuckle out of me in Let There Be Carnage. I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't remember the specifics, but there might have been one moment that I kind of chuckled. But in pretty much the entire film, I did not feel like anything was properly humorous to an actual good point. And
what'd you actually laugh at?
What?
What part did you actually like chuckle at?
Yeah.
What part did you chuckle at?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of when it was.
Was it something Carnage did?
I'm pretty sure it was later on in the movie, and I think it was around the time. It was probably one of the stupid lines involving the Dan character.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, Dan's so stupid, and I don't even like care about the ex-girlfriend plot, but it's like I don't even know why she's with this Dan guy. He's just so bland and boring.
Yeah, it was so stupid. It was incredibly bland. But I was thinking during that scene when they were talking about it, and then she was like, well, first thing, that scene when she was telling him about being engaged, and like it seemed like nothing had happened, and then she was like, please just like pretend to be happy for me or something. I was like, wait, what?
He's your
Like
ex.
nothing has actually
He's your
occurred in the
ex.
scene yet. Like,
He's just sitting
why
there.
are you complaining about how he's acting? Like what? And then like,
Why would
then
you?
she,
Why would she expect him to be just like, oh, I'm so happy for you, like when she basically just dumped him when he was like engaged to her, and it's like, yeah, if I tell my ex that I'm getting married, they're not just gonna be like, and they're very clearly still in love with me. I'm not just gonna be like, can you just tell me happy? Can you just pretend to be happy for me? Like, that's just like a asshole thing to say.
that was awful character writing. And then when she was like, and then it was like she was like, well, act like you care or whatever. Then he was like, okay, fine, don't marry him. And then she was like, I cannot do that. He makes me feel safe. Like, what? No.
Does he make you happy?
None of this motivation makes sense. All this character development is terrible.
Yeah, and there was like one good line I also remember from the prison scene where like it actually got tense. It was when Carnage was like, it was when Cletus was talking like Eddie for the last time, and he was like bringing up Eddie's past and was talking about how his dad like beat him because he killed his mom just for being born. Like that was actually a pretty good serious moment, and that's like the only serious moment they gave Carnage the whole movie, and it was like the only good like bit of character backstory given to Eddie in the last two movies, and like I think that was from the comics, but because it kind of goes against the symbiotes where it's like they kind of give people life, but when Eddie was born he took life, so it was kind of like a weird inverse, and it was kind of a good character development. But this movie they just kind of bring it up and don't do anything with it later.
Just brought it up and brushed past it, which is like they could have done something with that to give the film some substance, but no, it was just kind of like brought it up, and like it was kind of an interesting moment, and then they just went past it, and then it faded away, and it's just like,
also, how did he know that?
Why give your critical audience hope if you just gotta like rip it away from them?
Yeah, also, how did he even know that?
What?
How would he even know that?
Yeah, that's true. Like they didn't establish enough of like a relationship between Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy, because like at the end, like Cletus was like, all I ever wanted was for you to be my friend, and Eddie was like, I'm sorry. It's like what? Like this movie kind of just happened, and I didn't feel like any connection between these two characters. So like, what was the connection, and what was it supposed to be, and why wasn't it properly set up?
Very odd and very messy and badly written.
In the end, it's a complete mess. I think it's terribly written. I think the characters are awful. I think the comedy action, whatever it's supposed to be, it's all awful. I pretty much didn't enjoy any of it, and I'm very upset that it exists. I think it's a big waste of time. I think it's pandering, it drags, but it's also far too rushed, and it's pretty bad. It's definitely not the worst movie of the year, though. I haven't seen anything worse than Space Jam yet, so yeah.
Are you gonna get the Steelbook?
I'm gonna pretend that question didn't happen.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Trinity likes Space Jam too. Yeah, I don't. But I completely forgot she's like enjoyed Space Jam 2, Forever Purge, Venom 2, and just like I don't know.
Man, what a terrible return to movies this year. Can I just say that movies this year have been rather disappointing as a whole. Like, wow.
But Ellis, they're gonna start prepping up Purge 6 to film.
Thank Christ.
The final movie after the last two being actually the last three being final movies, but that's like another thing. And yeah, this year's been pretty god awful. I know Halloween Kills and Spider-Man No Way Home are most probably going to impress me. I'm hoping next year's going to be a lot better. For starters, we have the new Scream coming out beginning of next year, which even if that's not good, it's at least exciting. And then there's Doctor Strange 2's in March, which is like really close actually. Like I thought about that recently. I was like, that's like not that far away.
Yeah, the comic book film lineup looks to be actually pretty strong next year. So
doesn't Spider-Verse 2 also come out next year? At least it's supposed to.
Yeah, it was like planned to be like after delays, of course. So I'm not sure if that's still supposed to be happening, but if it does, I'm excited because
Yeah, so we're also getting
hopefully it's.
We're also getting Thor Love and Thunder and Black Panther 2, I believe, next year.
Yes, that's true.
And I think we're getting, I don't know what DC movies we're getting. Apparently Joker 2 is filming. I don't know if that's happening. If that happens, I don't know. And
I don't really want that to happen, so.
well, I guess they asked Walking Phoenix if it's happening, and his like reply was like, "How would I know?" And it's just like, okay, so it's happening. You're just not saying it because you kind of play the Joker. So I think you would know if anything if they were filming Joker 2. And
I feel like he'd be one of the first people to.
also, the Batman comes out next year. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
That is true. I am pretty excited for that film. It looks like to have a lot of potential as of now, at least of what we've
Oh
seen.
yeah, we have
So.
we have Eternals coming out next month, which is
I keep forgetting about that. Because all of the trailers are nothing looks interesting about it at all. But you know what's happening, so.
It's 2.5 hours, like confirmed, I think, and
I don't want to see that. I think on IMDb it says 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I think it's like 2 hours and 37, something like that. Which I'm assuming we're gonna both watch it to review for the podcast, but that's gonna be a fucking slog because it's gonna be a whole day, basically.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm gonna be in the theater for like 3.5 hours. And if it's not good, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I'm gonna be really pissed.
It's gonna really suck if it's not good.
And we have Dune as well at the end of the month, which I'm actually excited for that a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna see it in theaters or not, or just watch it on HBO Max. It seems like a theater movie, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see for that one. But I am excited for Dune, at least just to witness it. I don't know how good it's gonna be, but.
Yeah, but Venom 2, on the other hand, is doing very well in the box office, which is very good to see, which it isn't at all, actually. I mean, it's good to see that movies are doing well in theaters again, but this just guarantees that we're going to get more of these type of movies, and they're probably going to confirm Morbius 2 and Kraven the Hunter 2, and I think they're making a Silk TV show, which is like another Spider-Man character, but they're just not making it Spider-Man related. But like it's...
Yeah, I don't know what... They seem to have this weird obsession now with just, like, bringing up, like, Spider-Man, like, properties, but, like, not involving Spider-Man and making them their own thing, which, like, can be fine, but, like, just, like, why? Like, what's the point?
Why have Spider-Man in the MCU if you're going to take all of his, like, pretty good villains away? And, well, I guess not all of his villains, but, like, Venom is, like, a significant character in the Spider-Man storyline, and he would do very well in the MCU, I feel. And especially Kraven the Hunter. Yeah. Kraven the Hunter would be great. And like I said multiple times, I think like some character like Morbius would be like a great villain in like a Blade movie or something. And
sure.
It's very obvious Sony's doing this just for money. This is obviously a cash grab because it's just, I'm glad it didn't open when Halloween Kills opened because I would have been pretty pissed because it would have, Kills would have not done well. And
yeah, that is good.
Even if Kills is for some reason not great, it's going to be infinitely better than this movie because, I mean, yeah, sure, in some ways it's a cash grab because they know that Michael Myers makes money, and but there's like people behind it that actually like care and like are crafting a story, and this one is not doing that well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I gave the first Venom. I think it was like a 3 or like a 2. I think it might have been like I don't remember what I gave it. This gets like the same rating because like in some ways it's better, but in some ways it's worse, and both of them are equally as bland. So it's really just these movies are almost interchangeable for me. If Woody Harrelson wasn't playing the villain in this one, this would probably be actually like significantly worse than the first one. And
yeah, I think other than just a few minor details would really drag it down to a 1, and it would maybe even be in contention for the worst film of the year for me. I mean, Space Jam was really bad, but who knows?
I mean, I guess this was better. I guess this was better than F9. I didn't see Space Jam 2 because I have dignity.
You like it better than F9?
I like this movie more than F9 because one, it's shorter, and at least it's more entertaining, and the story at least makes script sense, I guess.
I will say it shouldn't be a praise, but it kind of is that this movie's short because it kind of ruins it in some ways, but at the same time, at least it is shorter than like F9, which is overly long, and it's shorter than the first one, which was bad, and like even Space Jam was a 2-hour movie. Like, why?
It was? You sat there for 2 hours.
You sat there for 2 hours watching Rick and Morty going dumb.
That movie was awful. Also, Malignant. I don't know if this is better. I think Malignant's better than this, just because at least had style. But Malignant was fucking terrible. Also, that movie got praised. I don't get what's with people praising movies lately, because even F9 got some praise, and even Space Jam 2 got, like, very few praise. And, like, why?
Yeah, I watched the most recent Sardonicast, and they actually did not hate Malignant, and I was, like,
They
surprised.
didn't?
I was like,
I didn't watch it, but,
no.
like, they probably don't like it. At least most of them.
Yeah,
I don't.
were,
I wish I could see what people are saying, but I think it's just objectively not great.
Yeah, I just,
maybe,
it just didn't seem that good to me. Maybe
I'll give it another
I
shot
don't know.
at one day, but I'm not interested enough.
Yeah, I mean, on Sardonicast, they basically agreed that it's pretty, like, middle of the pack, like 5 out of 10, but they, like, enjoyed it. Basically, they were saying they enjoyed the third act because, like, it was over the top in a good way, in their opinion, but, like, the first 2 acts of the film are just such a slog, and they just it isn't very good.
I saw a fucking article, and it's like, did Malignant make Gabriel the next horror icon? And it's like, no.
Alright, that's
No.
that's probably gonna be enough for me when it comes to movies, at least for until next week. Yikes.
Well, next week, next Wednesday, we're talking about just the Halloween franchise in general, I believe.
Yeah, it should be a passionate episode because we're just going to discuss all the Halloween films leading up to Halloween Kills and probably discuss any theories that we have for it because we're very excited for it and it's definitely I'm excited to talk about it, so yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah,
It'll also be good Halloween, as great of a horror movie it is, so
yeah, when I hear people that don't like the original, I'm confused. So, but yeah.
So yeah, that'll be a fun movie.
I don't really recommend this movie. Pretty much everybody's seen it already because it's doing really well. And also in the theater, when the post-credit scene came on, somebody next to me was screaming in like absolute glee about Venom being seeing the events of Far From Home on TV, and it's like, why? It's not. I guess it's like a cool prospect, but like the scene is just Venom looking at TV. Like, come on, come on. But yeah,
I do not recommend Venom Let There Be Carnage. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10.
I guess
overall,
if you really want to watch it just for like pure entertainment, you won't get much of it unless like you're extremely drunk or you really just want to laugh. Maybe you'll enjoy it. But these movies are just bland. They take themselves. The first one takes itself too seriously, and this one just like leans too much into what I guess people liked about the first one, and it's just equally as bad. But yeah, 2 out of 10 probably. The most gracious I would do is give it like a 2.5. I don't recommend it unless you genuinely are interested in watching it, but you're not gonna enjoy yourself. You might, I don't know. Some people are. Maybe we're just weird. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty upsetting and pretty laughably terrible. And on that note, I will say that I don't think we're laughably terrible, and you should definitely subscribe if you enjoy the discussion. Also, be sure to leave a like and to comment your thoughts down below. Did you enjoy Venom Let There Be Carnage? If you did, let us know and tell us why, because I would love to hear reasoning behind that.
Venom, gotta get that Venom. The Venom song was so terrible.
What?
The Venom song was so terrible in the first one.
Yeah, the Venom song is really bad, and the song for this movie, like, I guess it's not, like, bad, but, like, it's not really an Eminem song, so.
It's also not really related to the movie either. Just there.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
Yeah, but, yeah, that's probably it. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a great day or night, wherever you are, and, yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, be sure to tune in, and hope you have a great evening. Whatever the next evening for you is, I hope it's great.
Same, man. I wish you the best as well. Oh, wait, you're not talking to me, loser.